morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha, Acharya. The top stories first. Lawmakers demand withdrawal of provision of imposed number plate. West management of Kathmandu gets center stage in Parliament. Department of Transport Management defends its decision, says embossed number plate installation is not compulsory. KMC Mayor wants public to segregate waste before dumping. Balin Shaha hopeful that the citizens will fulfill their civic duty. Turkey working to mediate between Russia and Ukraine, discusses grain export corridor from Ukraine. And Nepal begins preparation for Asian Games. The 19th edition of Asiad likely to be held in 2023. And now the news in detail. Lawmakers have demanded withdrawal of the provision issued by the Department of Transport Management to fix embossed number plates on vehicles within the current fiscal year. A report. In course of deliberation on the appropriation bill during yesterday's meeting of the House of Representatives, Nepali Congress lawmaker Gagan Kumar Thapa asked the government to withdraw the provision on embossed number plates as it was not possible to fix such plates on all vehicles within the current fiscal year. He urged the concerned minister to see the crowd and problems faced by the general public at the transport office in order to get embossed number plates. Similarly, CPNUML's Bhim Bahadur Rawal spoke against the ruling of the Department of Transport to fix the embossed number plate on vehicles within mid-July and said the tender process seemed suspicious. He was of the view of assessing the comparative benefits of the implementation of this number plate system on users and said providing biometric information to a private company was capable of violating the people's right to privacy. He urged the government to review its decision to switch to embossed number plates. Discussion on different headlines of the Appropriation Bill 2079 is underway in the meeting. Lawmaker Thapa opened that it was the main responsibility of Kathmandu Metropolitan City and Ministry of Urban Development for the management the garbage of Kathmandu Valley. Saying that they are ready to help to untie the knot of the problem, he drew the government's attention to resolve the problems that persist even after providing additional budget for waste management at Banjare Dada and Sistol. The Department of Transport Management has clarified that the installation of the embossed number plates in all vehicles from the beginning of the new fiscal year is mandatory. A report. The Department of Transport Management said that the installation of high-security embossed number plates was intensified but not made mandatory. The department's notice issued 3 days ago regarding the installation of embossed number plate, which contains details about the vehicle owner as well. The status of the payment of revenue had caused controversy among the public and in the social media. The department in the notice had cautioned the traffic police would begin to monitor the vehicles whether the vehicles had imposed number plate or not since July 17 and would take action if not installed, sparking decry among the people. According to the department spokesperson Ishwari Datta, the citizens need to fix the number plate on their vehicles compulsorily from the new fiscal year starting from July 17. The notice released recently was complementary to the statement issued in November 8, 2021 he shared. He said that it was their responsibility to implement decisions made in the past. Furthermore, he admitted that there was no way over 2.5 million vehicles registered in Nepal could fix the embossed number plate within the next 40 days. The Department of Transport Management and award the contract to print the embossed number plate to Tiger IT, a joint venture company of Bangladesh and the USA. The agreement to fix the number plate based on computerized technology was signed in 2016. People from various walks of life have started protest against the government's decision to fix embossed number plates on vehicles from the next fiscal year. Especially the students' union have been demanding the government to revoke such decision. The government had recently issued a notice urging the public to fix the embossed number plates of certain lots of vehicles mandatorily within the current fiscal year. This has caused a serious backlash, them to streets to the parliament as well as social media. Long queues of people can be seen at the department offices in Ekantaguna and Gurzadhara after they started applying for the embossed number plates fearing action from the traffic police. The student leaders insist that the hasty decision of the government to terrorize the people should be taken back. They urge that the government must first prepare the infrastructures required to provide the service and then only implement the decision. A technical committee formed by the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation for the revival of tourism industry has been dissolved. The committee, formed under the coordination of Rajaram Giri on January 16, 2022, was dissolved through the ministerial level decision. The ministry dismissed the committee after it submitted a report on May 3, informed Hemant Regmi, Personal Secretary of Tourism Minister Prem Bahadur Ali. The 12-member committee was formed under the coordination of an entrepreneur Giri in order to provide policy-level suggestion to seek new potential for the tourism industry of Nepal. A 24-member board of directors under chairmanship of Minister Ale was also formed to oversee the revival of committee. According to the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, both the committees have been dissolved. The ministry further said that the advice and suggestion of the report would be implemented. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 21 new cases of COVID-19 across the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the number of active cases of COVID-19 has dropped to 150 after 9 people recovered from the disease. So far, a total of 979,137 people have tested positive for the virus in Nepal, while 966,962 people have already recovered. No new death from the virus was reported yesterday. The death toll from the virus remains constant at 11,951. Nepal is currently among top 66 countries affected by coronavirus. USA tops the list with 86.50 million cases, followed by India with 43.15 confirmed cases. The virus has infected more than 535.14 million people worldwide and has claimed over 6.32 million lives. Mayor of Kathmandu Metropolitan City Balendra Shaha has urged the citizens of the capital to separate households waste as the source of its origin. He requested the Kathmandu denizens to separate the biodegradable and non-degradable waste at the source before providing the trash to the collectors. He took the help of social media to appeal the public towards this end. He said that the metropolis would not pick up the disaggregated waste. The waste management issue in the Kathmandu Valley is becoming a challenging issue, and it is the common responsibility of all of us to find a proper way for its better management. The mayor wants the metropolis to separate the waste produced from rooms, houses, offices and houses they are collecting for dumping. Mayor Shaha hoped that the separation of waste in its source would make the management task easier and contribute to make Kathmandu a clean and healthy city. He says he is hopeful of getting cooperation from the people who will never compromise to fulfill their civic responsibility. Waste management remains uncertain after the locals of Sistol once again obstructed the dumping site despite an earlier agreement to allow dumping. And now the news from economic front. The government has changed the income tax rates for the new fiscal year. A report. The Inland Revenue Department has released the new tax rates to be paid in the fiscal year 2022-23 after the announcement of the new annual budget by the Minister for Finance on May 29. According to the department, an unmarried individuals has to pay 1% tax for up to rupees 500,000 income, while the married couples will have to pay the same amount of tax for income up to rupees 600,000 per annum. Likewise, both the married and unmarried people are entitled to 10% tax for income between rupees 600,000 to rupees 800,000. Similarly, 20% tax is imposed on income ranging from rupees 800,000 to rupees 1,100,000 according to department. An unmarried person has to pay 20% tax enforcement between rupees 1 million to rupees 2 million, while a couple earning rupees 1.1 million to rupees 2 million has to pay 30% tax. Furthermore, those earning more than 2 rupees million per annum should pay tax equals to rupees 360,000. According to the IRD, an unmarried person having annual income of more than rupees 3 million should pay tax of rupees 745,000, while the married people has to pay rupees 716,000. The IRD said the provision of 1% tax is not applicable for the taxpayers having the firm registered independently and the contributors to the pension fund and the contribution-based social security fund. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. Russian and Turkish defense ministers have discussed a potential grain export corridor from Ukraine as well as the situation in northern Syria, Turkey's defense ministry said, as Ankara and Moscow geared up for talks between their foreign ministers. NATO member Turkey shared a sea border with both Russia and Ukraine in the Black Sea and has been working to mediate. Between both sides in their war, Turkey has supported Kiev and refused to impose sanctions on Moscow. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar and Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu evaluated all measures that can be taken regarding the safe shipment of the grains, sunflower and other agricultural products, the Turkish Defense Ministry said. The announcement comes as the two countries' foreign ministers met in Ankara on the talks for United Nations-led efforts to open a safe corridor for Ukrainian grain shipments and Syria. Hungarian Ambassador Csaba Kőrösi was elected Tuesday as the next president of UN General Assembly. According to the Associated Press, he warned immediately that the world is in the throes of the danger crisis and credibly the United Nations is at stake. Kőrösi, who takes over the presidency of the 193-member world body in September, said there is a red alert for the global climate and crisis in food, energy and water supplies. In addition, he said people everywhere are still affected by the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. The global economy is at the threshold of recession and the sovereign debts are at an unprecedented level. On top of that, conflicts this century, including in Ukraine, are fiercer and a postcard from the future, Kőrösi said. When the United Nations was founded 77 years ago at the end of the World War II, member states showed that lasting peace can be built on the ashes of war, Kőrösi said. But today we live in times that rock the foundation. This organization was built upon multiple crises looming. He called for the same resolve today that the UN's founding nations had to stand up to the challenges that threaten international peace and security as well as our sustainable future on this planet. Kőrösi, a diplomat for nearly 40 years, previously served in Libya, United Arab Emirates, Israel, Greece and the United Nations in New York. More recently, he served as Deputy State Secretary responsible for security, policy, diplomacy and human rights. You are watching Janata Bulletin and now the latest from the world of sports. Nepal has started closed camp training for the 19th Asian Games to be held in China. All 23 sports disciplines that Nepal will feature during the event have kicked off from the training from Tuesday. A report. National Sports Council member Secretary Tonkalal Khising jointly inaugurated the training of all 23 sports disciplines. The first phase training started from June 7 and will conclude on July 7. A total of 514 players, including 230 male and 284 females, are currently undergoing closed camp training. Member Khising said that the closed camp training will serve as a preparation not only for the Asia but also for other international tournaments. He urged the players to attend the training in a disciplined manner and added that the players need training for 365 days a year. Kissing further said that the government has approved a budget of Rs 50 million for the first phase of training. Kissing also handed over sports kits to the Sports Association on the occasion. The NSC is expecting medals from Taekwondo, Karate and boxing. During the first phase of training, the selected players will undergo general fitness training, medical training, physical fitness examination, mental test, nutrition and sleep test. Players will be selected for the second phase by July 14. The Asian Games were supposed to be held in China in September but has been postponed due to the rise in COVID-19 cases in the host country. Although a new date has not been fixed, the Games will most likely be held within 2023. Nepal had participated in 29 sports disciplines during the 18th edition of Asian Games, out of which Nepal bagged one and only silver medal from paragliding. Nepal's hope of qualifying for the U19 Women's World Cup has effectively ended following the defeat. The U19 Women's T20 World Cup will be held in South Africa next year. Chasing the target of 90 runs for victory, Nepal lost all its wickets in 19.5 overs within just 40 runs on board. Nepal's Srishti Jaisi top scored 7 runs off 21 balls and Sana Pravin scored 6 off 21 balls. Nathita of Thailand took 3 wickets, giving away 9 runs. Earlier, Thailand were invited to bat first and posted a total of 89 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the allotted 20 overs. Thipacha was the top scorer for Thailand with 20 runs. Nepal spinner Manisha Upadhyaya and Pritika Marasini took 2 wickets each, while Sneha Mohara took 1 wicket. Earlier, Nepal had defeated Qatar by 79 runs in the first match and lost its second match against the UAE by 10 wickets. Similarly, Nepal defeated Bhutan by 4 wickets in the third match. The top team in the Six Nation tournament will be selected for U19 Women's T20 World Cup. Nepal will now play its final match of the qualifiers against Malaysia on Thursday. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Lawmakers demand withdrawal of provision on imposed number plate. West management of Kathmandu gets center stage in Parliament. Department of Transport Management defends its decision, says embossed number plates installation is not compulsory. KMC Mayor wants public to segregate wastes before dumping. Balen Chaha hopeful that the citizens will fulfill their civic duty. Turkey working to mediate between Russia and Ukraine, discusses grain export corridor from Ukraine. And Nepal begins preparation for Asian Games. The 19th edition of Asia likely to be held in 2023. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.